Little impromptu live stream from my vehicle. Get this going. I don't like the angle on that, but just came out to the car for a quick break. I got about a half hour till my next client comes in. Want to eat a cookie and drink some of my coffee. So that's what I got going on. God bless you, brother. What's going on? Shake, what's going on? God bless. Moses, God bless. Good to see you guys. Can you hear me? I got on this little wireless mic. I don't know how well it's picking up. Type of one if you could hear me. Truly blessed. God bless. Yes, sir, Moses. Yes, sir. I am at work right now. Just came out. I'm going to eat my cookie, drink my coffee. One of my clients' mothers got us all some coffee, so I'm drinking my Dunkin' Donuts decaf. All right, good. Glad you guys could hear me. So my two coworkers are in the barbershop right now talking about Islam. And this is something I've really been thinking about a lot lately. I really need to brush up on Islam, right? I need to brush up on my Islamic apologetics. You guys may have heard me say this before, but when I was young, I used to want to be a Muslim. That's why I got this stupid star and crescent tattoo on my arm. And I thought when I first became a Christian that my ministry was going to be to Muslims. Mr. Prodigal, God bless you. I thought my ministry was going to be to Muslims. I thought I'd learn Arabic. I thought that was going to be it, but God had other plans. So I've read the Quran. I know a little bit about Islam here and there, but I'm by no means an expert, right? Never talked a Muslim out of being Muslim. But as they're in there talking about Islam, my one coworker said he studied it a little bit. The other one saying he really doesn't know nothing about it. So they're in there talking, and it just strikes me that like Islamic apologetics are going to be so important and so pivotal in in the future going forward because Islam just keeps growing, right? Islam is growing, and it's not growing so much by conversion as it is by Muslims just reproducing. But they teach their kids, they catechize their kids. They bring them up in the faith, and it's dangerous. And we got to know this stuff, and we got to be able to have answers for their objections. And the Islamic dilemma is great. Don't get me wrong, that's great, but we got to go deeper than that. We got to have real answers. We got to be able to show them everywhere where the religion goes wrong because for those of us, like for me, I never focused on Mormons because I'm not around Mormons, right? And the fact of the matter is, there's really not that many Mormons in the world. Like, Mormonism is not making a splash like that. You know what I'm saying? Ali Zahn, God bless. So, Mormonism, it's going to fizzle out at some point or another. It's not growing. There's a couple million Mormons in the world, Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not really going anywhere. These things are 100 years old, 150 years old, whatever the case may be. And they're not picking up steam like that. But Islam is growing. Islam is growing. Islam is 1,500 years old, and it's a problem. It's a problem. I remember watching this interview with a guy on a Canadian news station, and they're out on the street, and the reporter says, you know, are you for Sharia law? And he says, yes. He says, yes, I'm for Sharia law. He says, and when it happens, and he goes, notice I didn't say if. He said, I said when. He said, because it's going to happen. And the reason it's going to happen is because we keep having children and you don't. And for many so-called Christians in the West who have children, they don't really properly catechize their kids, right? They don't really raise them in the faith. It's just like Jesus is kind of a background thing. And that's a problem. That's a problem. I would venture to guess more nominal Christians than there are nominal Muslims in the world. Now, I could be wrong. I have no hard evidence to support that. This is all anecdotal. But of the Muslims I know, most of them are more devout than the Christians I know, percentage wise. I know a lot more Christians than I know Muslims. But it's an issue. God bless you all. Jonah, God bless. Nina, God bless. Annette, Zealot's Den, God blessed. I said God blessed. God bless. Because I was reading truly blessed as I said that. Connie, God bless you. Good to see everybody here. Again, I just got a few minutes before my next client shows up. I came out to the car to eat a cookie. Pardon my chewing. I got Girl Scout cookies this year. I get them every year. And I get them from one of our clients' daughters. She's the hookup. Pro Life Chloe, God bless. Saw you over there at Logic's wedding. Hope you had a good time. Luis, God bless you. Yeah, this isn't a normal live. Normally, I would be inside cutting hair right now, but I got some space in between appointments. But yeah, Samoas are great. These are called Tostios. So the Girl Scouts of America have upped the price. I don't know if anybody ever watched the show The Wire, but there's a season in The Wire. It's funny, people are walking up. There used to be a bakery next door to where I work, and they shut down. So you got all these people who don't know the bakery shut down going and looking in. But anyway, on The Wire, there was a guy that kind of took over. His name was Marlowe. So when he takes over, they had a co-op of all these drug dealers who would go in and, they'd split the cost on getting all the weight and whatever. So once he takes over, he just lets them all know. He's like, yeah, this is how it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. They're all unhappy. And at the end of the meeting, he says, by the way, price of the brick just went up. No warning, unprovoked. And everybody's like mad about it. Well, that's how it was with the Girl Scout cookies. They told me $6 a box now. Just went up, unprovoked, no warning. This is crazy. This is crazy. Mr. Prodigal, I am not an Orthodox Christian yet. So I am currently on my way out of Protestantism. We're going to take a detour in the Catholic Church while we discern orthodoxy. So we're going to be visiting a bunch of churches. I'm going to be looking into history and trying to answer some questions that I have. But East is the way that I am going at the moment. Yep. Yeah, Giovanni, technically I already am a Catholic. So I'm not going to be one. I am one. Am I hopping on Alton's live tomorrow? I'd personally like to see you refute Corey's OSAS position, but I know you're over some of these combos. Probably not. It would depend on what time he's going live, because Wednesday evenings are busy for me, but I don't think so. So you still down there, Chloe, or are you home yet? Oh, this guy parked real close to my car. Hope he don't open his door on it. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Somebody just left a comment in a foreign language, so we're going to keep that one hidden. Oh, is that what it was? You said hi? Jason, I will be visiting some divine liturgies, and this is absolutely the season for it, right? We're in Great Lent now, so I'm definitely going to be visiting some divine liturgies. I'm going to try to go to Vespers. I'm going to do the full thing. Luis, what do I think of James White denying Ignatius' existence? I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous, especially for somebody who has criticized Muslims for not holding the Quran to the standard that they hold the Bible to. he would never accept that type of argument against scripture, right? He wouldn't accept any argument that denied the existence of one of the authors of scripture, that denied the authenticity of scripture based on some fringe on the edges scholarship. And he's trying to use that for Ignatius. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, got my coworker popping up. Well, yeah. Thought I was leaving. But yeah, James White, he seems to be on his way out in terms of just credibility overall. It's kind of ridiculous. He lost to Joe Heschmeyer. I finally watched the entire debate. Clearly lost. He lost to Voice of Reason. I always forget the brother's name, but the Hispanic brother from Voice of Reason. He lost to Jimmy Aiken twice, right? He lost to Trent Horn. When's the last time James White had a good debate against a Catholic? And Sam Shamoon doesn't think he did that well against Dale Tuggy. I disagree with Sam on that. I actually thought James White did do well against Tuggy. But yeah, right. Sheikh said John 3 and 16 is being debated by scholars on its authenticity. Nice. Cameron's going to review James White in 30 minutes. Yes. Think positive. Alex. That's his name. I always forget the brother's name. I don't know why. Alex. Alex from Voice of Reason. Yeah, James White is I don't know, man. James, I don't want to disparage the guy, but he's not doing so well. And I don't know if I would correlate that with his leaving Phoenix Reformed Baptist Church and joining Apologia. But if I think back on the timeline of when he started getting kind of loopy, that might be it. You know what I mean? That might be it. I'm not positive. I don't care enough to like go back through the archives and see when this all started, but yeah, he's not the James White that I came up listening to. Another thing was, for a while there, he got like real political. I don't know if you guys remember that. I don't know how closely you all follow him, but James White got super political for quite a while. I don't remember where he was on the Christian nationalism thing. I don't recall if he's for it or against it, but yeah, weird stuff. James White just don't build his knowledge on things he's stuck in the 90s. Yeah, you know, every debate he does, he brings up some old debate, and somebody edited together a video. It was brilliant, of all the references to him debating these guys in the 90s. His great debates on Long Island, his debates against Mitch Pacwa and who's the other one? Robertson Jenis, and just constantly living in the past. You gotta like step into the future, stay up to date with what people are saying. And in terms of being up to date with what people are saying and understanding what people are saying and fairly representing what people are saying, let me give you a testimony from day before yesterday. So I get out of church. I just had one of my daughters with me. So I asked my mother, do you want to go out to lunch? She's like, yeah. So we're sitting there at lunch in the diner, and there's this big table of old ladies next to us. And I can't help but overhear their conversation because they're literally right next to us. And they're talking about the Catholic Church and like, oh my God, those Catholics, they exalt Mary over Christ. And they believe you need to do works in order to be saved and yada, yada, yada. And they keep going on and on and on. And I was like, I wanted with every fiber of my being to just butt into their conversation and say, actually, no, that's not what they do. And that's not what they believe, and so on and so forth. But I kept my mouth shut. So let's see. Every teacher is a student, but not every student is a teacher. Absolutely. James White released a video today on Alpha and Omega Ministries about Ignatius, but in it he was talking about a heart issue. So clearly he has a health problem. Well, I'm not pleased to hear that. So everybody pray for James White's health. Um, I don't know if that's going to be the reason he's saying the wacky things he's saying, but I don't know. Pray for his health. Just lift him up in prayer. We don't want to see him die prematurely. Father Mitch Pacwa is like a drug to him. He can't get enough of him. Father Mitch Pacwa, man, that guy is great. That guy is great. When they debate it, Father Mitch Pacwa is just so gracious and kind and humble. You know, here's a guy that knows very many languages, right? Very many languages. He's a scholar, he's a gentleman, and he stood his own in those debates. I watched those debates when I wasn't thinking at all about Catholicism or Orthodoxy or any of that. And I thought Mitch Packwood did great. And he didn't lord anything over him. And it didn't get heated like it did with some of his old debates with Jerry Matitix. Crazy. But what else is going on in the interwebs? I haven't been on YouTube too much today or last night. All right, so Oscar's got a question for me. So you're 1.5 years. You're gonna in 1.5 years. You're gonna be 18, and your question is how to avoid taxes. Work off the books. Work off the books if you don't want to pay taxes. Aren't they saying Trump is supposed to do away with federal income tax? I'll believe that when I see it. Now, let me tell you guys something. I don't particularly care about politics, right? And during the last presidential election, not this one that just passed, but the one before, the Trump running for a second term, I got really caught up in it. And I didn't like how divisive it was. I stopped following a lot of people on Twitter back then because all they did was talk about politics. But I would get into arguments with people, and I voted for Trump the first time, not because I wanted to, because I thought it was a joke. Like when I found out this guy was running in the primary, I said, "You got to be kidding me! What is this country coming to when that's what we have to offer?" Right? So I thought it was a joke. And then when he won the primary and he was the candidate for president, I'm like, this, like, somebody's really having a laugh, right? So I wasn't going to vote. And then I showed up to the ballot box and I actually stood in there and I prayed. And I'm like, God, am I supposed to vote right now? Am I supposed to vote for this guy? So there's another person walking up, finding the bakery closed. So ultimately, I ended up voting for him, right? Because I just personally can't vote Democrat. Everything that they stand for, I'm not for. So with that said, I vote for him the first time. He gets into office and it's like, all right, economy was decent. He did an all right job. He kind of needs to keep his mouth shut, not talk so much and argue with reporters and yada yada yada. But still didn't really care. And listen, guys, I'm showing 9 likes and 29 people or 21 people watching right now. So if you all could possibly gently tap that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm watching what was going on with Trump, and I was like, all right, he's fine. Would I have voted for him a second time? I would have, and I did. And we saw how that turned out. He lost the election. Feel how you want to feel about it. Did they steal it? Didn't they steal it? It wouldn't be the first election that got stole. Who cares? But that second go around, I got too into it. So for this one, I was like, I don't care. I didn't think I was going to vote at all, right? And that was really a last minute thing because, quite honestly, it was like I didn't think Trump was the right choice for the country. Definitely didn't want Biden in there again. And then when Biden dropped out and it was Harris, I was like, oh my God, that's even worse, right? So I was gonna not vote, but then my one coworker who just came up to my door he just kept talking so much crap about Trump that I was like, all right, listen, I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna cancel out his vote because obviously he's voting for Harris. So I didn't even care to vote, but just to spite him, I voted. So I voted for Donald Trump. That being said, I bring all this up to say, I bring this up to say this that wait, what happened? He said double tap the screen. I don't know what that does. What's that do? I don't know. But I said all that to say this that Trump was supposed to be the great white hope, right? Trump was supposed to get into office and right all the wrongs and yada 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 yada. But here's the issue. The issue is, and I get it. Everyone's like, he's only been in a couple of months. It takes time. Fine. I get it. I don't expect everything to have gone down completely, but you would hope that stuff wouldn't keep going up. And everything keeps going up. I get an email from my power company. The cost of electricity is about to increase by 30%. That's insane. That's insane. Gas is going up. Cost of food is still rising. It's like, what the heck are you doing? You know, what are you doing? So, anyways, yes, absolutely, Shake. I am petty. I am petty. My wife accuses me of that all the time. I try not to be, but pray for me. So let's see. So they got some good handbooks to read, Giovanni said. St. Bonaventure, St. Augustine. Nice. Jason, I guess I am a Trumper. I guess I am. All right. So I'm gonna be on here for about 2, 3 more minutes because I just saw my client walk in, but he's early. So I don't care if he has to wait a couple minutes. Double tapping the screen leaves a like. That must be for you guys. Double tapping the screens just makes other stuff pop up for me. But yeah, Stacy, I'm sure the tariffs do have people freaking out. We're gonna see what happens with that. You know, I'm all for playing hardball if it's gonna help, but if it's gonna end up hurting the American people, then you got to come up with another strategy. But anyway, so yeah, to avoid paying taxes, just work off the books. You know, that's all. That's all I can tell you. Income tax really is it's theft. It's robbery. We should not have to pay tax on income. And as I understand it, every state doesn't have state income tax. I'm in Jersey, so we might be the most taxed state in the nation. I don't know, but our taxes are high here, very high. Oscar, yeah. Listen, here's the other thing, right? When that election happened, I went to sleep, and I think it was like I don't know. They were off by maybe like 15 points. I think Trump was up like 15 points. I fully expected to wake up the next morning and see that she had caught up, and it was going to be one of these things where we needed a couple of weeks for them to count all the votes and do it, figure out who was actually the president. But it was such a landslide victory. Like you had people that were just sick of the way this country went for the past 4 years. You had a lot of Democrats that voted for this dude. Illinois taxes are ridiculous as well. Yeah, never been. Where's your Orthodox church at, Mr. Prodigal? I am in Central Jersey. Oh, in the heart of the city. All right. Yeah, I could be to New York in. I could be to New York in about an hour. Where where about? I got a friend. Um, his church is in the city as well. I think I want to say Upper West Side. It's Upper West Side or Upper East Side, but I think it's Upper West Side. Orlando, that is false. The Lord rebuke you. Central Jersey does exist. So here's how it shakes out for those of you who don't know, right? There's this debate. People in North Jersey think that everything south of, and really, like if they had it their way, everything south of like Rahway would be considered South Jersey to them. And then people in South Jersey, like Atlantic County, Cape May County, they think basically everything north of Atlantic County, or yeah, Atlantic County, is North Jersey. But if you look at a map of New Jersey, directly in the middle, there's three counties, right? You have Monmouth County, Mercer County, Middlesex County. Middlesex tells you everything you need to know. It's the middle of the state, right? So you just look at where Jersey is naturally divided. You have Middlesex, Monmouth, Mercer, right? There's your central Jersey. You could argue that the southern part of Hunterdon County is central Jersey, but realistically, that might as well be Pennsylvania. But anyways, so don't listen to Orlando. He's over here lying. Yeah, he's in North Jersey. So what do you call it, Orlando? Taylor ham? And for those of you who don't know, type a one if you have pork roll where you're from. Type a two if you've never heard of pork roll. But it's crazy to me. All right, so Truly Blessed has pork roll. It's crazy to me that other places don't have it. And then there's debate. If you're from North Jersey, generally you call it Taylor ham. If you're from Central or South, you'll call it pork roll. It's all pork roll, but then there's two main brands of it. You have Taylor and then you have Case. So it all depends. Yeah. All right. So you guys got to either get out to Jersey and try pork roll. It's probably top 3 breakfast meats. And if you can't get out here, try to find a place where you live that serves it. Chances are you won't. But in any event, so I started this off saying that, listen, I think it's high time we start paying more attention to Islam and really developing our apologetic. Obviously, we have great resources out there like Sam Shamoon. We got guys like God Logic. Study their materials, study their videos, study the way that they argue, and engage your Muslim neighbors in conversation and debate, and try to convert their hearts. Pray to God to really change their hearts, because Islam is a problem and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You know, so I got to get into work. I got to cut this kid's hair. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We got 26 viewers, 22 likes. It's a decent ratio. If we could get that up a little bit, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. So we have an English language mission called St. Sergius Mission again, located Synod Bishops, Russian Orthodox Church, 93rd and Park on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. That might be his church. That might be his church. I gained some weight for sure, JT. I gained some weight for sure. Not the way I want to gain weight. I gain weight by coming out here and eating Girl Scout cookies on the internet. All right, but anyway, guys, listen. Appreciate you tuning in. Love you. I got to get in there and cut hair. So, God bless you, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Everybody have a wonderful Lenten season. Remember to fast, pray, get out to church as often as possible, and I will catch you in the next live stream. God bless.